Hey guys, it's Philip, and today I want to talk to you about 6 reasons why short-term rental investments are a good investment. Okay, so short-term rentals are a good investment now and in the future. Bear in mind, I got started with the short-term rentals about 5 years ago, back in November of 2011. We actually had a beach house down in Crystal Beach, Texas, that was a vacation rental for us, but it was being managed by a property management company that's popular down there. And we weren't really satisfied with the results that we were getting, and we wanted to give a try on Airbnb. So we actually took the listing ourselves and put it on Airbnb, and we more than doubled the rental income that they had gotten for us the previous 3 years, the first year that we managed it ourselves on Airbnb. So short-term rentals continue to be a very popular and profitable way of renting out your property. And I want to give you the 6 reasons why you should rent your investment home to travelers. The first one that we just touched on, obviously, is the higher income. It's easier to rent. When you list your short-term rental on websites like Airbnb and home sharing platforms and VRBO, which is called Vacation Rentals by Owner, and all of those different sites, you can be easier to be found by guests who want to come stay at your place for a short stay. This will help you attract more business in the future and generate more income than a single family home on a long-term rental property. So we talk about vacation rental properties a lot, but what a lot of people don't talk about is how this works even in homes in the suburbs. So I have been converting for the past 5 years some of our properties that we had as long-term rentals into fully furnished short-term rentals. And this has increased our monthly cash flow tremendously. We get a higher income than several other investment options. And then being able to rent out all or part of your property means that you can generate higher returns as well with fewer headaches than if you were investing in the stock market or in bonds, right? The stock market is so volatile, the ups and downs. Sometimes people can't deal with those ups and downs and lose the peace of mind that comes from having investment real estate. Also, another benefit with the short-term rental is it's easier to maintain the property. When you buy a house, you have to deal with both the tenant and maintenance issues. However, if you invest in a vacation rental property, the tenants are only there temporarily and they can be replaced often, right? So some might come for 2 days or 3 days, some might come for a week or 2 weeks, but we get to see the property in between every one of those guests' stay, as opposed to like with a long-term rental where you might not see the property for a year or 2 years or 3 years when you're in between tenants. And then if you're doing long-term, when you get that house back a year or 2 years or 3 years down the road, you're going to find out that you need to renovate the house again. You need to replace carpet, you need to paint and do all kinds of repairs and touch-ups. But with the short-term rental industry, you actually get to maintain those things every week, every month as you continue renting that property on short-term rentals. And the added additional income that you receive as a short-term rental helps pay for those things, where with a long-term rental, you might lose all of your profit when you're in between guests from the previous year to 2 years because you weren't able to charge enough. But with Airbnb and vacation rentals by owner and these other booking platforms, if the guests do damage, you can actually recoup some of those costs from the guests. So that's a really, really good opportunity as well. You have better control and flexibility with a short-term rental. There are many ways that you can exercise control over a short-term rental property, but here are the most important ones. You can control the rental process in your property. This means that you can decide how much to charge nightly for rent. And that price can go up and down based on supply and demand in the area, based on different things that the city's having in the area. So weekends we can charge more than weekdays, right? So you have all of this flexibility where with a long-term rental, you just have a monthly rate that you can charge and you don't get to increase or decrease that monthly rate until you're in between guests or when their lease is up. So with short-term rentals, there's a lot more flexibility. And then don't worry, because at first when you're starting out as a short-term rental, until you start getting some traction and getting some reviews for guests, you want to start your pricing pretty low to attract those first few guests, to give you those first few reviews. And as you maintain a really good property, get really good reviews, when other guests find it and read the reviews from previous guests, they'll talk about how good the value was that they received. And even if your prices are now a little bit higher than they were when you first got those reviews, they won't know what the price was. They're just going to see that there was great value, and they'll know that this is a great place for them to stay. Okay. Another advantage of the short-term rentals, and this is true with any real estate that you invest in, is the value appreciation. Short-term rentals is a good investment for many reasons, but one of the biggest is that it has a great return on investment as your property value continues to increase year over year. Traditionally, real estate always goes up. There might be a blip where values go down a little bit, like in the 2008 market crash. But even from then till now, those property values have more than doubled. And in the past few years, price values have really gone up significantly. But even in a normal market where values go up 3, 5, maybe 10% per year, that's a great appreciation rate. That's a great value add as you continue owning that property for years to come. Short-term rentals will remain a good investment because of its high return on investment potential, as its ability to provide other benefits such as your reduced risk exposure and increased liquidity. So what does increased liquidity mean? I like holding my Airbnb properties and my short-term rental properties for a year or 2 years, maybe 3 years, and then selling that property. And by having a short-term rental fully furnished, always being maintained, continuing to keep up that property, it gives me an asset that's always ready to sell. And then I can exit if I choose to take the profit and the cash equity that I have on the table off the table and move that into another investment opportunity or buy multiple properties with that. So my strategy is basically that. It's the increased liquidity to be able to sell these assets once I've owned them for a year, 2 years, or 3 years, and then move that equity into a more passive investment or a syndication or a investment opportunity with somebody like JT Fox and the founders that I'm involved with. Another benefit with the short-term rentals is the ease of access. You can get access to your property very easily, where with long-term rentals, you have to get a permission and notices and all these things. And then it's always weird going into a long-term rental that somebody else lives in full time. But you can actually get access to these short-term rentals on very, very short notice, as well as in between guests. You also have the ability to actually stay in the listing yourself. If you want to vacation at one of your short-term rentals, you're allowed to do that as well for free, or you could actually pay or have your own company pay if you have some kind of event there, which is really cool. And then you can get access to the property at any time of the year as well. Another benefit that a lot of people don't talk about is the cultural interactions. Some short-term rental operators love to interact with their guests from different cultures and learn about their different countries and from people from all over the world, which is really, really cool. This gives you an opportunity to learn more about other cultures through those interactions that take place both online and offline if you meet them in person at the property. So just to conclude, short-term rentals is a good way to invest your money now and into the future. It has several advantages over the traditional real estate investments like we talked about, like low maintenance, high returns, and easy access, as well as the cultural interactions. If you're looking for an investment opportunity next year or want to start now, short-term rental might be a really good choice for you. So really take into consideration whether you want to do long-term rentals or short-term rentals, and take from my 20 years of experience and knowing that I would prefer to do short-term rentals any day over the long-term rentals based on the struggles that we've dealt with. And don't get me wrong, everything has its struggles. And like my coach Brendan Burchard always say, when you knock on the door of opportunity, don't be surprised that it's work that answers. But the work is worth it. It's very rewarding. And if you keep in mind what the end goal and what you're doing everything for, you can sustain anyhow. So go out there and make it a great day. Invest in yourself. Start buying rental properties, short-term rental properties, and everything in between. Look forward to talking to you again on the next video. God bless.